Who's your commander?
Good luck.
Equip.
Move to combat.
Resolves.
Now, before you attack
Does
me,
anyone have an answer?
well played.
Good game.
Hello friends, this is DJ and the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel. I have an exclusive preview from Commander 2019. Let's not wait, let's look at Song of the Worldsoul. Song of the Worldsoul is 4 white for an enchantment that says, whenever you cast a spell, populate. This is a very simple enchantment. You cast spells, you make copies of creature tokens that you control. This can have a huge impact on a game of Commander because you can have some huge tokens. But wait a second, you may be asking. This is a do-nothing enchantment. It hits the battlefield and nothing happens. You need tokens and spells for this enchantment to work, and I say to you, very true. You do need other tokens, you do need spells, but this is a game of Commander. You put this in token decks. Is Divine Visitation a bad card because you need other token spells? No, it's amazing. Is Doubling Season a do-nothing enchantment? Well, technically. But let's examine Song of the Worldsoul, find out the best things to populate, the decks this belongs in. The first place this card belongs is in the Precon. This comes in Primal Genesis, and I think it's going to be a great inclusion. This card supports an entire archetype. If you have a Temet Vizier of Noctimoon deck, then you can start populating those powerful Embalm tokens. If you have a Daxos the Return deck, this enchantment will give you an experience counter and then populate those powerful creatures Daxos produces. If you have a Tristani deck, this is a perfect inclusion because you can keep populating those powerful tokens. In fact, let's imagine some of the tokens we're going to be populating. With every spell we cast, we could be producing more 5/5 indestructible horses, more 3/4 flying birds. Actually, if I'm going to be populating 3/4 flyers, I'd rather populate Angel of Sanction's Embalm tokens. That means with every spell I cast, I'm going to be making 3/4 flyers that exile a non-land permanent. Also in white, we can produce big tokens with cards like Phyrexian Rebirth. Wipe the board, create huge tokens, and then every subsequent play, we're making bigger and bigger creatures. That's a non-bo with all my Angel of Sanction tokens, but a combo with all my indestructible horses. Let's try and populate the most impactful creatures we can. Sure, you can copy a soldier token or a monk with prowess, but let's populate 8/8 beasts from Godsire. Let's populate 10/10 Eldrazi tokens. Let's sink all of our life into Phyrexian Processor and keep populating gigantic minions. We can even copy tokens that give us more tokens. Giant Ediphage can go out of control on its own, but just imagine if we're also populating. Reefworm can get bigger and bigger and bigger, but just imagine populating 6/6 whale tokens or 9/9 Kraken tokens. In fact, the best tokens that we can copy in Magic are tokens of existing powerful creatures. Bramble Sovereign is a mythic out of Battle Bond, and it is very, very powerful. 2 green. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 and a green. If you do, that creature's controller creates a token copy of that creature. So now we're not just limited to the tokens that we can put on the battlefield, we can populate any creature. I can think of some pretty powerful creatures to keep copying over and over and over again. Red is also pretty good at creating creature tokens, although many of them expire at the end of the turn. Felden of the Third Path, Flame Shadow Conjuring, or Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker can all make token copies of powerful creatures. Remember, the copies made by Felden, Conjuring, and Kiki Jiki will go away at the end of the turn, but if you were to copy or populate those disappearing tokens, the new tokens are a completely new entity and will not disappear at the end of the turn. No matter what deck you put Song of the Worldsoul in, you can populate powerful tokens. Mimic Vat pumps out tokens of powerful creatures that have died. Helm of the Host can put out a creature token every turn, and Mirror Pool copies a creature that you already have. If you're able to play blue cards, you're going to find a ton of copy effects. Arcane Artisan can put a creature token onto the battlefield, and it can be something huge from your hand that you can then populate over and over again. Stolen Identity does its own populating with this crazy cipher trigger, which is a very favorite card of mine. And then Fairy Artisans can get awesome token copies from every creature your opponents play. And the list goes on and on for awesome token copies that you can get out of blue. But the real reason why I want to play blue with Song of the Worldsoul is a creature called Chancellor of the Spires. For blue, 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 it's got some opening text. It's a 5/7 flyer, whatever. But most importantly, when Chancellor of the Spires enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard without paying its mana cost. So if I ever get a token of Chancellor of the Spires, then I can cast an instant or sorcery from my opponent's graveyard, and that'll trigger Song of the Worldsoul, populating my token copy of Chancellor of the Spires, which will let me cast an instant or sorcery, which will trigger my Song of the Worldsoul, and let me populate a token copy of Chancellor of the Spires, which will let me cast an instant or sorcery from my opponent's graveyard. Notice that it doesn't exile this instant or sorcery. You can just keep casting the same instant or sorcery over and over again. I can just keep casting Cultivate from my opponent's graveyard and fail to find every time, making an infinite number of Chancellor of the Spires, lightning bolting someone that I don't know what spells they have in their graveyard, but I'm going to cast it a bajillion times. This is the kind of magic I love, and I'm so excited that Song of the Worldsoul makes it possible. So where does Song of the Worldsoul fit into Commander, fit into our metagame? Well, I think it fits perfectly. It's a 6-mana do-nothing enchantment, but when it gets going, it can take over a game. It gives you tons of fun populating huge creatures or small creatures, token copies of powerful creatures that shouldn't be able to be populated, but we can build a deck around it. I want to thank Wizards of the Coast for this free preview card. I also want to thank my sponsor, TCGplayer.com. If you want to support me by buying things from TCGplayer.com, you can click on the link in the description. That'll take you over to the C19 page they have. And then I also want to thank my patrons who support me every day. And thank you very much for watching. If you like Commander, I would subscribe to this channel, because I talk about a lot of Commander. I'm going to be breaking down all of the Commander 2019 decks and talking about the powerful interactions found within. All right, everyone, thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.